Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's my opponent to go first. I have an unbingo-y rack. Now, what can I do with this? I've got women on my rack spelt with a Y. That does play in column 9, making by and an. I can't see anywhere else for it on this board. I would like to play off, well, 2 or 3 of the high-scoring tiles. I think I will play this, because it does sort the rack out. $25 points, retaining UW. A dreadful rack leave, but I think 25 points is better than changing. Great, that could have been a lot worse. Quite a kind pickup. I don't have a bingo, but I have a nice scoring tile in the X. And I'd like to play the X and split up the U and W, and I can do that with wax or wox. At the moment, I've got ox or zoo in column 10 next to the O of women. I'm expecting my opponent to take that triple word square. I'm looking lower down the board to see if there's any good places for my X to go. And I'm struggling to see anywhere. And in the bottom half of the board, I can't see anywhere for wax or wox. Okay, my preferred spot for the X has gone. Has my opponent provided anything new? Well, I could play Roo in column 13, R-O-U-X. And I may be able to play that elsewhere because I have it on my rack. That would leave W-A-R-D, which has some synergy. Well, there is somewhere else for Roo. I can play it down here. Let me see what this scores. 29 points, which is better than the 22 I would have got in column 13. And this is providing nothing for my opponent. I draw another U, so I've still got the WU combination for the third rack in succession. I'm 10 points behind. Orphy is good, AWFY. That would play off all of my high-scoring tiles. It would, however, leave me with a foul-heavy rack leave, including the U. I note that my Y can go underneath the N of Faunia. So I could play Doi in that spot, but I don't want to keep F, U, and W. Roke takes an S and a T at the end. My Y can go next to the U of Roke. At the moment, I've got Orphy in row B. Let me see what this scores. $29 points, pretty good score. I am, however, opening up row A for a very high-scoring 4-letter play. If my opponent has got a high-scoring tile, he can place above the A. So can I do better than this? The rack leave here, DEU, is not terrible. So there's a lot which is good about this play. but it is a risky play. Well, I think I will go with it. Not too bad, getting slightly closer towards a bingo. I can't see a 7-letter bingo with this rack. I suspect there are some 8s with the right floater. Can't see anything through the A or W of Orphe. Negritude through an N and a T. And I no longer have any scoring tiles. If my opponent doesn't play in row A, I've got DWEEB, keeping EER. Or GUDE, GUDE, just slightly less. 39 points for my opponent. Now, I don't have any scoring tiles, but maybe I can use the J for score by playing in row C. So either my G or my I can go underneath JA. My E would have to go here. So if I have my G here, do I have a play which ends GE? Well, I do. I've got UJA, which sorts out the vowel situation as well. DIR, not a bad rack leave. It goes well with the E, and my opponent may leave this E alone, since if he hasn't got a bingo, he's going to be reluctant to play through it, because that will open up column 1, and the E goes nicely with my rack. If my opponent does want to take out that E, I'm retaining the I for going next to this Q. And this scores 27 points. An option would be to play something like dig down here for 30 points, but that's retaining the U and a lot of vowels. So I will play this. I draw the Z, which is good. I don't have a bingo. I'm 21 points behind. I can't see a way of using my I next to the Q and playing my Z. I'd quite like to play the Z straight away because it's hampering my bingo prospects and I am behind. So I could play Res in column 14, beginning next to the U of Rogue, and that places the Z on the triple letter square, 36 points. I note for future reference that Jag takes a G and an S after it, and OR takes an E after it, as well as a D and an S. I've got Jag here by placing the I and R after Jag. I haven't seen any serious alternatives to Res yet. I can't play to the left of Roke because I've got nothing which goes in front of the U. UJA takes nothing in front of it. I can't see a way of playing through UJA which places the Z on the triple letter square at F2. I'm looking at UN and XI in rows G and H in case there's a 9-letter bingo. I've got the IZE and IZED ending. Can't see anything through those. Nearly exercised. Well, nice bingo for my opponent. He goes further into the lead. Is that S of any use to me? Don't think so. Has my opponent provided anywhere new for my Z? I'm looking in row H to see if I've got a 6-letter play beginning with the N of thenars, which places the Z on the double letter square, or indeed anywhere. Can't see such a play. So Res leaves quite a good rack leave. 36 points. I have pinched, and that plays in column 12, making P. Does it play anywhere else? Well, not at the moment. Do I have an alternative bingo? Not too many floaters to consider. Nothing goes in front of XI. Can't see anything through the E or U of Uja. What about the S of thenars? No, can't see anything through that either. So at the moment, it's pinched or nothing. I don't think pinched has an anagram. So if pinched is blocked, what can I do? Quite a bingo-y rack. So anything I do will... Well, it is a very bingo-y rack since I actually have a 7-letter bingo with it. But if I can't bingo... Great, I can! And my opponent has provided a better spot. Pinched in the other spot. Didn't get doubled. This does. And this should bring me right back into the game. Pinched 90. Great, I have outlies. Now surely that plays somewhere. It plays in row J, making Banins. I don't think outlies has an anagram. I'm looking around to see if there's an alternative spot for it. And I can't see anywhere, but maybe my opponent will leave row J alone, because except for bingos, it's not a particularly useful lane. I'm wondering if I have any alternative bingos through the floaters. But that's probably... I have Solitude in row N. Great, I'm definitely bingoing. Solitude has the anagram Toluides, which does not play. And I have Lousiest. Great, row K, Lousiest, double-double, just been blocked. Solitude remains available. My opponent plays the first blank. Good bingo for him. What a shame about Lousiest. Solitude doesn't get doubled, and it opens up row O. But it does keep the board wide open. Just looking to see if I can play outlies above or below biotopes, and I can't. Well, I'm glad I saw Solitude, otherwise I would have nothing. Solitude 61. So I'm now 6 points behind. I have a dismal rack. Just looking at the vowels on the board to see if I've got a bingo. I don't think I have. How disappointing. With only one vowel, I have significantly reduced opportunities. I'm looking in column 15 at the top to see if I can play a four-letter word. My D can go on the end of UR. So I could play Lord, keeping LSV. That's not bad. Certainly better than changing. 27 points. The V isn't a terrible tile to have, but it's a non-bingo-y tile, and it likes vowels. Great, only 21 points for my opponent. Do I have anything better than Lord? Well, I could play Lev at the bottom right through the E of Solitude, keeping the O. $20 points. Let me see what this looks like. So 20 points keeping Lords, or I can play Lord at the top for 7 more points, keeping VLS. Well, I'm inclined to go with the Lord play, because there's quite a few vowels on the board. The E and U of Uja, I and O of Biotopes, A of Ask, and the E of Solitude. So I should be able to make a move next go, even though I'm not retaining any vowels. 14 tiles left. Just wondering if there's something better than either of the plays I've considered. Well, I can't see anything better. Great! I draw the second blank, and that was another reason for playing Lord rather than Lev. Playing off 4 tiles rather than 2 increases my chances of drawing a blank. Now, I have salvaged through the A of Ask, making go, L, and die, using the blank as the first A. Do I have an alternative bingo? I'm looking at the E of Uja. I suspect there is a bingo through that. Is Cell Veg good? I think it is. Cell Veg ending EDGE. Well, this is going to be quite a tense endgame. We're dead level, 324 points each. My opponent... Wow, has he blocked Salvage and Salvaged? I think he has. How annoying. And 86 points, a huge score for him. I've got 10 minutes left to find a bingo with this rack. There are 3 tiles in the bag. And a bingo may not be enough. Let me just check Salvage, LVED. That certainly doesn't play. Any play through the E would overlap the M and the E at a minimum if it began at A2. It's not a great rack. D, G, V and L, not particularly great. I do have the O of Biotopes available. Nothing is coming to mind. Have I overlooked anything? And if I don't bingo, with 3 tiles left, I need to play off 2. And I can play VAG in row M. And what that does is it keeps open a number of bingo lanes. It keeps open column 2 through the E. It keeps open column 12, beginning next to ERD or E, or going through the T. So there's a number of bingo lanes on this board. Do I have a bingo this go? Maybe it's better to play a non-bingo now, even if I have a bingo, because then when I bingo next go, I will catch my opponent with all the tiles on his rack. Just seeing if anything comes to mind. I'd rather make that decision to forego the bingo when I can see what the bingo is, rather than just theoretically, because the actual bingo may be justified by its score. It's hard to keep in mind all of the floaters, but I shall try. I've got 8 minutes left, so I've got plenty of time. Haven't seen anything so far. Still nothing. Okay, so I can't see anything. So I'm thinking about playing VAG down here. 18 points. I can only play off 2 tiles. What about playing off the G to take advantage of the jag hook? Tricky. Well, I don't think I can take advantage of that. So VAG for about 20. That's going to take me to 344. 66 behind. Only one scoring tile in the bag. My opponent could get 30 points for that. Yeah. So VAG followed by a bingo probably won't win. Can I score more? What about VAG in row J through the A? That takes out this O, leaving just this bingo lane, but I'm not sure this bingo lane is particularly easy to block because it has to be blocked at the top and the bottom. And that still leaves the E of Uja as a floater. Only 18 points, so there's no point in doing that ahead of VAG down here. 6 minutes left. Well, I am going to play VAG. 18 points. Okay, well, this is what I have. I've got dillies in column 12 and DWEEB. Do I have an alternative bingo? And dillies does not get doubled. My S can go in front of erd. So I've got stilled on my rack. Stilled, surd, and T. What's that going to score? $78. That would take me to 420. Plus count back. Probably not enough. Now, column 2 might eke out a few more points. Great. Stilled stays available. Let me just see if this scores enough, because if it does, I'll take it. 5 minutes left. Stilled 78. That would take me to 420. And I'd get 16. Yeah, that's enough. Fantastic. I think I will go with this. If there is a better play, it will only be fractionally better. Let me just recheck these scores to be sure. 78 on 342, 420. Yeah, that's got to be enough. Just wait for my opponent to formally end the game. which he does. And the final score, 423 to my opponent, 436 to me, a winning margin of 13 points. Well, when I was faced with the VAG rack, I thought I had very slim prospects of winning, but I won. So let's see what I missed. Now, it was my opponent to go first. Horrible rack. And a nice play of Bainin for 22. This was my rack. I played women at A9. I didn't like it, but it looks the best of what is on offer. My opponent's rack, that looks close to a bingo, but he doesn't have one. He played Fornia, blocking my X spot. And I played Roux for 29, and I could have played Do for 31, and that would have been better. I didn't see that. My opponent's rack, he played Roke. Another poor rack for me. Ooh, I missed Yord, D12. Okay, Yord, U, and AE. That would have been an excellent score of 40. Instead, I got 11 fewer points, but retained the E. So certainly Yord would have been a better play. My opponent's rack, he plays Jar, and this was my rack. And here I played Uja for 27, and that looks pretty comparable. DIR is a much better rack lead than IRU. It may not be 9 points better, but it's going to be, well, somewhere between 0 and 9, and I'd much rather have a manageable rack leave, even if it costs me a couple of points of equity. Nice rack for my opponent. He played Thenars. He could have played Hartons for slightly more. And this was my rack. I didn't see Sizers, K5. That would have been quite nice for 34 points. I played Res for 36, and these moves are fairly comparable. Dice is quite a good 4-letter rack leave. But the problem with Res is that it's opening up column 15 for a big score. My opponent's rack, he didn't play any of these, which is good for me. But he did have a bingo on his rack. What did he do? He played Add It, and that gave me a nice spot for Pinched, and that was the only bingo playable in 2 spots. My opponent's rack, nice play of Biotopes. A couple of other bingos there he could have played, and that blocked some of my moves, and Solitude was the only bingo, so I'm glad to have spotted that. My opponent's rack, not particularly great. He played Ask for 21. And my rack was also pretty poor. And at this point, I'm 27 points behind. So this is what I was thinking about briefly. Lev for 20, and I preferred Lord for 27. Although Lords, well, I just prefer LSV as a rack leave to Lords. But in addition, it increased turnover, which was good with a blank in the bag. Now, this was a great spot by my opponent. Mega Bars. Sagamore also available. And I thought this was the end of the game for me because there were only 3 tiles in the bag and I was 80 or 90 points behind. No bingos here. I played VAG for something. Yeah, VAG for 18. And I think that's the best play because none of these rack leaves are great, so it's important to choose the rack leave which maximizes your chances of a bingo. And the score of 58 for Vegas exhausts the bag and is guaranteed to lose because I can't bingo next go. So I am happy with my play of VAG. This was my opponent's rack. What could he have done? L1 code. Well, that's not going to block a bingo. What did he play? He played Koth for 18 and, interestingly, Coat for 26. Might have been enough. Yeah, that would have been close. Anyway, this was my rack. And still for 78 was the highest scoring bingo, although there were alternative bingos scoring the same and less. So that was the end of that. I'm not sure about the coat play, whether that would have been quite enough. 13 points was the margin. Well, it would have been close. Anyway, very exciting game. I thought after Megabars that I wasn't going to win, but I had a nice final pickup and a bingo lane which scored enough remained available for me to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. So I hope you enjoyed watching that video and got something out of it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.